Arise! Arise, riders of Theoden! Spear shall be shaken, shield shall be splintered. A sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises. Ride now! Ride now! Ride! Ride for ruin and the world's ending. Death! 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 And other happy words will come to you now from the Fluffenhammer. Roll the music.
Every man lives, not every man truly dies.
If you don't know that one, guys, what are you doing listening to this podcast? You should know that one, really.
Well, this week's cold open comes from two things. One, apparently some of the ones I've used recently are a little too
esoteric, are they? They're difficult to sort of pass,
Yeah, so I thought I'd bring it right back to the beginning. And also, been in my head.
Garth Marenghi is a little esoteric, isn't it? You've got to operate in those circles to know what's going on there.
Well, for the episode I did with Alexander from the 32 podcast and 28 magazine, that actually came from his favourite film, which was Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, I had to make it connect, so I did it as an orc shouting at other orcs.
Right, okay.
And I did get a couple of question marks and puzzled faces from that one. So, fair enough. So I thought, I'm going to bring it back a little bit. And also, it's been in my head since me and Andy did the Fluffin Nation recording.
Was that this week?
That was last week.
And,
okay. And then that comes out on the 25th,
Brilliant.
as all Fluffin Nations do. As a result, it's been in my head, and I've watched that scene about 15 times.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good scene. It's very good indeed. I've always loved the Rohirrim. Ever since I was a kid and I was obsessed with Tolkien and I read Lord of the Rings like 12 times. I've always loved Rohan and the Rohirrim as a culture. They were always my favourite parts of the books.
Have you guys witnessed Turd of the Rings?
No.
Right, it's a YouTube channel. I will find it and send it to you. And what he does is he re-edits the scenes to be stupid.
Actually, yes, I have. Yes, I have. They're hilarious.
Yeah,
Some of them are amazing. It's the one where at the end of every clip it's Gimli laughing, right?
Yes,
yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen them.
Gimli playing the saxophone is a work of fucking genius.
Brilliant.
But the one that always gets me is some will say this is the day. What's it? The day where the courage of men fails. This is that day. Puts his sword away and rides off.
I love the troll-a-lol one. Have you seen that? That is my favourite. Where he synced the troll-a-lol song to Saruman, and it works beautifully, right? The editing on that is just the best, right?
They're absolutely top notch.
Yes, I've had many a happy wasted hour or 2 or 3 going through those videos, I can tell you.
I'll have to find the one with him. This is that day.
There is a time-honoured tradition of lampooning Lord of the Rings, though. I mean, there was the Board of the Rings,
there is.
The Harvard Lampoon book, which is donkey's years old. I mean, that came out shortly after.
1973, that thing was published.
Yeah, it's donkey's years old, and that is a direct lampoon of the Lord of the Rings, obviously.
Yeah, and it's a weird one as well because it got a prequel in the Soddit.
Yeah, the Soddit.
Which is one of the weirdest things I've ever read because it starts off as a lampoon, and then halfway through the book, before you realise what's happened, it's turned into its own story.
It's become its own sort of little epic, hasn't it? Yeah. It's a weird one, that. It's not as like laugh out loud funny as the Board of the Rings is. I mean, the Board of the Rings, what I love about the Board of the Rings, it's just stupid. And it knows it's stupid, and it just goes for it. There's no sophistication at all. It is just like straight up, almost childlike humour, but it's great. It's absolutely wonderful.
There was when The Hobbit was getting made, there was actually somebody out there trying to get the rights to make Lord of the Rings as a movie.
Wow, that would be interesting.
And it's it's a shame it never happened. To be honest,
difficult because it's like Pratchett, isn't it? A lot of the jokes are literary. They're linguistic and they're meant to be read rather than heard. That's why half the time Pratchett doesn't work when they translate it into live action or whatever. There's
absolutely.
There's something about the process of reading and having to refer to the footnotes. That process makes the joke work. And you can't do that on screen or in live action, obviously.
It's a weird one. They always seem to either make Pratchett into a slapstick, or they lean too heavily onto the wordplay and forget the rest of the feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain...
I think the most successful ones have been the Cosgrove and Hall animated ones. They work okay.
Right, Soul Music is a work of goddamn art.
Soul Music is
a
gorgeous.
Genius.
Yeah, it's really pretty. And it must have been difficult, of course, because that is technically a sequel. And it follows on directly from Mort, right?
Yeah.
So that must have been difficult to get
kind of
right.
a sequel to Reaper Man as well. It kind of combines the two of them, and it does a lot of stuff in there. I mean, for Christ's sake, it was only... I was into the 2000s before I realised the catastrophe curve joke at the beginning of that fucking book. Well, actually, right, that's not the worst. The worst one was in 2004 when I started reading Lords and Ladies again. It hit me that Granny Weatherwax was a fucking virgin, and that's how she was able to get the unicorn, and I couldn't get my head around the fact that I hadn't worked that out before then.
Well, there's even a joke about that. There's a joke about that in Witches Abroad. There is, where they're flying on the broomsticks, and they have that weird moment where some of our reality starts to seep in, and they start having a weird idea about how they could start doing a flying travel service for normal people. And Nanny Ogg looks at Magrat, and she looks at Granny Weatherwax, and you know what? We could call it Virgin, and then they fall. Brilliant, absolute brilliance. Although that joke doesn't work later on because, of course, Magrat isn't a virgin for that long in the series.
No. And to be honest with you, if we sat here and talked about Pratchett and all the internal mechanics that man managed to put into his books, we'll be here all day.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to do a podcast about that at some point.
I would absolutely love to just talk about Pratchett for a couple of hours.
That would be nice, actually. I'd like to do that. I mean,
sounds like a Patreon episode.
I think that would probably be a good Patreon episode.
Okay.
It'd be long.
It
may have to be a series of Patreon episodes.
Oh, God, do you know what we could do for the Patreon? Right. Everyone out there, get in contact and let me know if this is something you'd be interested in. Doing it book by book.
That would be interesting. I mean, there's a lot to get through.
Or possibly theme by theme.
There's a lot. I mean, maybe book series, because you can sort of divide the Discworld books into distinct series
Witches,
for the
Death,
most part.
Wizards.
Yeah, exactly. The Watch books.
Yeah.
And then the incidental ones like Small Gods and Moving Pictures and whatnot.
Here's an interesting one for you. Small Gods is probably my favourite Pratchett book.
Right. Fantastic. The jokes that keep coming and coming and coming. Brother.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's brilliant. It's utterly brilliant.
The one that was sticks in my mind is the last words of the tortoise. Oh, bugger, shit, no, shit.
Yeah, the words of God, by the way.
But at that time, it's just the last words of the tortoise.
Of the tortoise, yes.
Yes. What a good friend I have in the eagle.
Utterly brilliant. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, what I love about that book as well, he's so erudite, Pratchett. He so knows of which he speaks that underneath the jokes, there's all this mythological reference. I mean, the eagle and the tortoise they're age-old stories, right? Age-old, like some of the most ancient story archetypes that exist in human culture, you know?
Well, I mean, there's the famous Persian one, isn't it? Oh, well, pre-Persian. Can't think what that civilization is, but it's pre-Persian of the eagle and the tortoise.
Yeah.
And, you know, that goes way
back. You
way
find
back to...
variations of it all over. all over human culture. Because it's fundamental. It's a fundamental human story, human narrative. And he knows this. Pratchett knows it, and he's working with it. You know, he's playing with it. It's utterly... I mean, Small Gods has got to be one of, if not the best Discworld novel. It's just beautiful. I mean, everything about it works so well.
Yeah. Well, the thing I always find fascinating about Small Gods is underneath that... You've got that layer of humour, and underneath it, there's the layer of mythology.
And underneath that, there's a layer of anger.
Oh, there's rage.
There's a lot of anger.
Absolute rage.
You know.
And it's one of those fascinating things of, you always think of Pratchett as the twinkly old granddad. You always forget just how much anger the man had in him.
It's very clear when you read his work. He's angry about a lot. I mean, even the stuff that's aimed directly at children, like the Johnny books. You know? You read, you know...
Hey, fucking Only You Can Save Mankind was...
Angry book, right?
Oh.
Like, angry anti-Thatcherite book. Like, really powerful anti-Thatcherite book. Really straining against, like, the lots of things as well. Not just Thatcherism and whatnot, but, like, lots of things. Like, no, I can write a book about working-class kids and make it actually, like, a real working-class kids experience, you know?
I always called that book the anti-Adrian Mole.
Yeah.
It's everything that Adrian Mole isn't.
That's what he's straining against, isn't it? It's that long history of children's literature in this country being about, like, jolly hockey sticks, like famous five privileged little pricks, basically, you know. That's what it is. It's like, you know, these are not the Narnia brats, you know.
No.
They're not. They don't have elocution lessons. These people, they don't go off and have jolly picnics with fawns.
No. Christ Almighty! What you have in Only You Can Save Mankind is the fun story about the alternate reality that you go in and out of, being the computer game with the crocodile aliens, and then in the real world you have somebody driving a stolen car into a wall and dying.
Oh, and also, like, very thinly layered metaphors for the Gulf War, yeah?
I wouldn't say it's thin.
It's fairly overt, isn't it? You know, it's fairly overt. But by the way, aimed at young adults, like kids, you know?
Yeah.
Treating its audience with incredible sophistication. That it's just amazing. And also, I mean, you said, you know, it's about a video game, right? He must have been one of the first children's authors who wrote about video games in a way that's real, that actually feels like a real video game, right? And about video game culture as well, in a way that's recognizable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The man was a massive computer game freak, you know.
Clearly. He knew of what he spoke.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got the wonderful... do you remember the joke about the journey to Alpha Centauri?
Oh, my God, yeah. Where... Yeah, if you manage to leave your computer on for 10,000 years, a little screen will come up and say, "Welcome to Alpha Centauri, now go home." Now go home, yeah.
Anyhow...
It all comes to bear. I know we waffle, but it all comes to bear. There are bound to be Pratchett references somewhere in Warhammer.
Well, I mean, I wrote an entire article about how Pratchett was spoken to write for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Brilliant.
And his response was, it would be like giving King Herod the Bethlehem Babysitting Association.
Yeah, because he was trying to, like, undermine all of those fantasy tropes, right? That was his business. That's what he did. Brilliant.
But if you remember as well, if you go right the way back in White Dwarf, every time Pratchett released a book from Colour of Magic onwards, it got a review up until about 1990.
Yeah, so
which is
pretty cool, right?
Yeah. The man was loved even then, even if the original critics did throw things like, he doesn't even write in chapters.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus. But anyhow, at 14 minutes, I'm Adam. This is George,
Hello.
and over there's Andy.
Welcome to the Fluffenhammer,
Yes.
where we are going to waffle on down your ears in ways that make you feel uncomfortable. We're going to talk about the latest news, then hopefully use that as springboards for discussion and conversation. That is our mission statement, where we just talk shit and you seem to enjoy it. So thank you. Thank you, everyone who listens to this.
But always, we do appreciate you sticking with us when we waffle. We really do.
It's what brought up the way I end every show of thank you for listening. Indeed, you still are.
Yeah.
Because I'm always amazed that people get through these shows. I was kind of amazed that we put the last one out, and that was like nearly 3 hours.
It was nearly 3 hours long, wasn't it?
The first response I got from everybody was, "Excellent! I know what I'm doing every morning on my way to work this week."
We're happy to bring that little ray of sunshine into your lives. We really are. Or that little ray of warp light.
The colour out of space.
Exactly.
Oh no. Which is
we bear no responsibility, by the way, if you do start sprouting extra eyes and beaks and feathers and tendrils and things. Yeah, absolutely. Blessings is what they are.
We bear no responsibility if you turn into Nicolas Cage.
No.
Who is going to come back up later on in the show, by the way.
Okie dokie.
And it's up to you to work out when that's going to be. So, shall we just get straight into it, because we've got a hell of a lot to cover.
There's loads to go off here, isn't there? There's a ton. What are we going to start with, guys?
Well, shall we start with the thing that doesn't exist? And by which I mean the World Eaters.
Oh, the thing that doesn't exist, of course, yeah. Yeah, the thing that you... I mean, to be 100% fair, Adam, you're okay here, because they've already done the Corn Berserkers, so they're not in this particular article.
Correct.
So you're kind of safe in that regard. Although I hate to break it to you, there's new Corn Berserkers coming with it.
No. I'll believe you when I buy them.
Afraid so.
Oh, but how can you buy them if they don't exist?
Yeah, that's Schrodinger's Corn Berserkers, isn't it?
Yeah. If I haven't bought them, then as far as I'm concerned, they don't exist.
Okay.
So Schrodinger's Berserker is now a paradox that we're going to keep at.
Fair enough.
I don't think we've ever come up with an episode title this early in the show.
Right? Schrodinger's Berserker. No, I like that. But no, I mean, like I love the cover art for one thing. I think that's really cool. But then again, I'm a bit of a mark for the old, the God-specific books. You might have noticed I kind of like them.
Yes, they are usually very, very good.
Look at the bunny ears on that guy. Those are epic, right? Is he compensating for something?
I mean, do they even have anything to compensate for, or is it just nothing but blood, guts, and gore?
That's a whole other area of discussion. If you go onto any of like the 40k forums or whatnot, you will find this discussion occurring again and again and again and again. Are Space Marines eunuchs? Probably is the answer. Is the answer.
Yeah. I would.
They're not built for reproducing.
Well, that's right. That's right. And of course, having reproductive organs would just be a weakness, right?
Yeah. Sorry,
but there are exceptions.
Sexy Space Marine fan fictions that are lore based. Sorry.
There are exceptions.
Are you saying they're well hung Space Marines out there?
The Emperor's Children, they probably do. After all these centuries and millennia and the war,
that's not a real peen. That is a demonic peen.
Yeah, that's like hentai tentacles, isn't it? I know.
Wait,
but they do have something.
More like the thing from Beyond. You know where he grows a really long neck with his head. It's more like that.
Or like those scenes from Jacob's Ladder with the sort of like tendril demon. Yeah. Kind of like that. Yeah.
It's not going to be a normal peen.
No,
it's gonna be
it is not.
Horrific.
Because Slanesh would be bored by that.
Yeah. So would they. So would the user.
So would they. Yeah, absolutely they would. I mean, why would you want a boring normal set of genitalia? It'd be boring, wouldn't it?
I'm going to put my money down on the salamanders all having big swinging dicks.
I think it'd just be charcoal, though. I think it'd just turn to ash in the hand. I don't think it'd be there.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that maybe the salamanders have some form of mutation where they just keep their giant swinging testicles and massive meaty member and just like wandered around.
Salamanders because it pops off and it can regrow.
Like a lizard.
Maybe that. Maybe on death it just like absorbs all the gene seed and pops off and runs home.
I mean, there's also the opposite end of the spectrum. There's the Thousand Sons who literally don't have any anatomy at all.
True, yeah.
Like nothing. It's all gone.
No dicks in the Thousand Sons.
Nope, sadly not. Nothing. They're all dust. All dust. Apart from the sorcerers, God only knows what's going on with them. They're Zeech touch, so they're like the most mutated Chaos Space Marines imaginable. So who knows?
They're contained just in their armor.
Just about. Some of them.
Squished in there, yeah.
Some of them. Yeah. But no, I mean, I love the cover art. The cover art's really cool. I mean, consistent with the Ninth Ed Chaos cover art, right? It's beautiful. It's really, really cool. Tells you everything you need to know. The guy's wielding two very, very big axes that are likely very, very impractical in any sort of like real world combat sense, but look ace.
Oh yeah, I mean, right. In all honesty, the 1-2 punch of seeing these guys coming out and the reading about the World Eaters in Echoes of Eternity,
right.
I do have something of a inkling to do a World Eaters army in original white and blue.
Oh please! I tell you what, Adam. Here's an extra little added thing. Do it, and I will make an absolute effort to get either my Emperor's Children or my Thousand Sons finished, so we can have a fight, so we can get together and we can have one cult versus another cult, one god versus another god. Let's do it. Let's throw down.
Holy shitbergs! I've just seen something I've not noticed before.
What's that?
If you go to the page, the picture above the Chaos Terminators.
Yeah.
Right? Look in the background. What the fuck is that guy with the big, scary head?
Where?
There's like a demon prince, and he's got like... Is that the corn head just painted in
I think
black?
It is just like the new demon prince with the World Eater's colours, yeah. It's good, isn't it?
I just saw him and just went, I love him. He's amazing.
Right? Looks I mean, I do. That Demon Prince, I love it. I love it. I've got to say, I'm a big fan. I want the Chicken Little head because it looks so stupid.
Because you said
it's ordered. It's ordered. It's on its way. I got my message today. Your order's on its way. Woo! Very pleased. There's old Angron at the side. There he is.
Yeah, I've got ideas for an Angron, but that's way down the line. I think there's very...
Hey, Adam, the Corn Berserkers are in that picture too. If you've seen them, look at the bottom. There's Corn Berserkers there, Adam. New Corn Berserkers at the bottom.
It's weird. You know, you think you take photos and you wouldn't have that much empty space.
Yeah, I mean, that big empty quarter at the bottom there. Why aren't there... You know, where are all the World Eaters?
Yeah, these Dark Angels just pointing at Angron and nothing else.
Weird that.
It's really weird. Yeah, really strange. All right, let's break down what we've got for the World Eaters then, because there is a ton of stuff here.
There's loads.
We've got the 8 bound to kick it off. And they've got 8 people inside them.
Apparently so. Apparently that's their background. They're kind of like Uber Corn possessed that have 8 demons bound into them. The models are so AOS, aren't they?
They really... Well, that's one of the things I was going to say. These guys, they have taken some serious design choices from the
Blades of Corn, right? Yeah, absolutely. They look like the Skull Reapers, don't they?
They really do. I fucking love them.
I love them too. I'm
going to be honest.
You know, they're big. I mean, you can't really tell from these photos, but these guys are big. They're like Terminator sized, you know. They're like big Terminator sized. They're on the very big bases. I think they come like 3 to a unit. So yeah, they're very, very big, very detailed, and they've got the butcher's nails really prominent.
Yeah,
which is very, very nice. They really do.
I have an idea. Now, it's up to you guys whether you think this is a good idea or not. But how good do you think these guys would look like with really old, like dog-faced beastmen heads?
I think that would work really well. I mean, you've got, Hound's obviously very Corn anyway. You know, he's known as the Great Hound, isn't he? So, yeah, I think that would work great.
It depends what you're using them for. Are you using them for 40k still, or are you going to use them for AOS?
No, for 40k.
That's okay then. Yeah, that'd be fine. I could see that working.
I think that just having really mutated looking heads would just look so good. But then the butcher's nails look so good.
They do, don't they? I mean, I love the fact. I mean, by all accounts, the things that don't exist also are going to have options, so you can have bared heads with the butcher's nails. It seems to be a big motif for the army now, right?
It does, which is a really nice way of going about it, because they're so inbuilt into the narrative
which is
now. Whenever
interesting,
they
isn't it? Considering that technically they're a new addition to the background.
Yeah, well,
technically,
how long has it been since Butcher's Nails came out?
Oh, I
6
mean,
years?
Yeah,
7 years.
They were introduced in the Horus Heresy books.
Yeah.
They're originally introduced in I can't remember what book it was off the top of my head, but it was definitely in the Horus Heresy books. Before that, there's always been this vague thing in the background of the Khorne Berserkers that says that they were censored for the use of psychosurgery, for vaguely rearranging their neural pathways to make like carnage pleasurable to them.
Yeah.
But the Butcher's Nails are much more specific. And the way they've been elaborated in the background and become so much part of their identity, clearly they've got to be part of the miniatures too. Clearly, you've got to have that option.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really, really like these guys.
I particularly, I mean, personally, I really like the Exalted forms.
Yeah,
with the more demonic faces and the more sort of possessed quality about them. I mean, this is a case of horses for courses when it comes to Chaos. Some people like the more clean, archaic Chaos Space Marines. Other people like the more warp-altered, mutated Chaos Space Marines. I'm in the second camp. I like the warp-touched stuff.
I've just realised, and I'm a bit of a freaking idiot for not seeing this before, but each of the Exalted is one of the 8-bound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same model.
It's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same kit. Pieces. They've just got there's different pieces, different heads, different torso armor, different feet and hands and arms and things. But yeah, it's all from the same box.
That is a really cool way of doing it. I like that.
Yeah, me too. And these are the.
I don't know.
These are the two.
It doesn't make them that distinctly different from each other. I think you're going to run out of you're going to run out of like unique versions of these. If there was a version of them not Exalted and there was a kit of them Exalted separately with their own parts, I think that would make them more separate. I would say I don't think these guys look like they are possessed by 8 demons.
No.
What indicates that they look like they're possessed by 8 demons or more than a normal possessed unit?
I mean, that is one of the
complaints
sheer
scale of them, isn't it?
But could you say that that's not just...
But actually, that's part of their background, from what I understand. From what we've been told, that's part of their background. The background of these guys is that they have to take the 8 demons into themselves and then conquer them. The Space Marine is in control, basically. And that's why they're not as, say, mutated as like your Chaos Space Marine possessed, where the demon is in control.
Right. It just kind of pulls away something special about the idea of them being 8-bound when they just, to me, just look like another Berserker, effectively just a bigger one.
A bigger Berserker.
Yeah, like if you go up to somebody
steroid
who
Berserker
and just hold them up to each other and say, what's the difference? One's just going to say, oh, one's bigger. It's not going to be like, oh, I can visually tell that this guy's better because he's being changed by the warp, which is why I think the Exalted are probably better because they look like
mutated.
They look like they've been affected by something. It looks like they're with the guy with the chainsaw coming out of his like half hand mouth thing. The guy with the weird feet, they look a bit more unique, a bit more of a threat than just like, it's like if you just scale these ones down, these could pretty easily be like a champion for the Khorne Berserkers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I think they look good. I just don't think they fit what I would expect the lore to be with them.
With
them,
I'm saying.
I think it would be very, very easy for me to take this box and make a absolute fuck ton of stuff out of it. Because I'm looking at them all, and the crossover between each of the miniature isn't that high. between like the normal and the exalted versions. So I think you could probably make some very, very cool stuff.
Like conversions and whatnot. Yeah, definitely. It looks like it's going to be quite a versatile kit, doesn't it?
It does.
I guess
Backpack, I think, is going to be a problem.
doesn't it?
It does depend on how they cut. I mean, you can see, like, the arms are very customizable. You can see that because they are all separate pieces. It's how we've seen the torsos, and they are interchangeable with the back part of the torso, so you can mix and match those, which is kind of cool. I suppose, like, the legs are going to be all just one piece. I know they're not, are they? Because the feet can be altered. So
yeah, the feet are different.
That's interesting. I wonder what the leg sculpts are actually like.
I imagine the legs are one piece, but then you'll have multiple versions of the legs. That's what. Like the one with the weird feet is probably its own set. When you look at some of the other ones, like the guy with the saw blade, his legs are the first guys, the one with the sword and the axe with the like grill mount.
Yes, yeah,
they're the
that's
same
right.
pair of legs.
Yeah, they are. But there's enough there to be. I think you could do all sorts with them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
I mean, I would like. I mean, I'm not even collecting World Eaters, but I would like this kit just to do stuff with it. To make stuff from it.
I like his big Muppet feet.
Yeah, I like the big Muppet feet too, actually. They're kind of cool.
They make me laugh.
The face sculpts are amazing on the Exalted, I think. The face sculpts are so detailed.
They remind me of Season 3 Buffy the Vampire Slayer vampires.
Yeah, they've got that feeling about them.
When they got the makeup just like so it didn't look as goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I like the guy that's got the chest made of teeth.
Yeah, that's very cool, isn't it?
He's my favourite.
That's very cool. We've also got the corn-specific cultists, the jackals.
They're nice.
Yeah.
They're going to do well in Necromunda.
Oh, aren't they just? Aren't they just? I mean, like, the Necromunda conversions are going to be coming thick and fast with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to get them Necromunda-y. You need to do next to nothing.
And vice versa, of course. I mean, there's a lot in the Necromunda range that you could just put into these units without doing anything to them. And they'd be perfect,
Yeah, you mix this up with a corpse grinder gang, and you've got yourself a whole heap of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're not
perfect.
too cornate either, so you can just use them as basic cultists if you scrape off a few.
Yeah.
Like, there's not even that many cornate symbols on.
No, it's true.
There's one on the buckle of one guy. There's maybe a flag you can cut off, and then a few little talismans, and then boom, you've just got normal cultists.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very, very cool indeed. And it's nice to see, like, a chaff unit for the World Eaters too. Which is what they're going to be, isn't it?
The guy who's got the cornate big belt buckle, I love the fact that he has a hand stabby chainsword.
Yeah, like an eviscerating chainsword. You can see how he would use it, can't you? Like driving it into the belly of his opponent.
And there's something about that it reminds me of like art in confrontation, like the pre-Necromunda. Yeah, it's got that real feel to it.
There's an old school quality to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see a lot of that in like the older miniatures.
Are they all huffing on drugs as well? Because they all have like blood bound.
I think that's a thing. Yeah, they.
I think you'll find they're all just trying to be like me.
Oh God!
Are they all like?
To rap.
I'm guessing they're all like previously captured prisoners as well, because they've got chains on them, so they can't escape.
Yeah.
So fill them full of drugs and then send them off.
And then chuck them off. Yeah, let them go, let them run. Yeah, that's probably it.
Kind of like the idea, a more basic idea of the what's that assassination unit, which you cryo freeze them after pumping them full of drugs and psychedelics, and you drop them off and they kill everything.
Oh, the Eversaw, Eversaw assassin. Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be a similar idea, but not as good.
Not as good. I mean, like,
not as subtle.
There's not much that is as good as an Eversaw, I can tell you. It's not much.
The anti-psychic guys are probably worse. I'd say.
I hate those guys. Thousand Suns player,
I was going to say you would do.
Hate them. Although, we've had a couple of little rules leaks from these guys, and it looks like these guys are going to be just the same, They're a big anti-psyker army. It looks like they're going to have tons of army-wide anti-psyker rules, because they're not going to have
this unit or just Khorne.
No, this army, the World
World
Eaters.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have loads of anti-psyker stuff apparently, which is.
What about anti-bullets? Because that's the big concern, isn't it?
That's going to be the concern. Yeah, I'm imagining the way they've got around that is through movement. I'm imagining they're going to have some sort of extra mobility.
You think they're really fast?
Yeah, I think so. Or they're probably going to have something like they're going to be able to do extra moves in their charge phase until they're within assault range or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I like the guy who's taking his box full of skulls for a walk. I'm going to call him Big Frank.
Yeah.
And he likes to spend his days just walking around with his box of skulls.
He looks like he's bigger than the others as well, doesn't he? I wonder if he's an upgrade for the unit.
Well, it says it down here that if you think they look nasty now, wait until you see what they can do when they're all juiced up on stims.
Ah, right, okay.
That's the stuff on the back, yeah.
Yeah,
so they are probably on 18 mil bases, and he's on a 32 base.
Yeah. So he's an upgrade of some description, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
What's that? They all use drugs to become bigger? I know a lot about that.
Oh no, all of the World Eaters are on steroids.
Well, let me tell you about strawberries. And then, of course, we've got the Lord and the Juggernaut, who we've seen before, but I am happy to see him again, because,
he's
God,
nice.
do I love that Juggernaut.
He's very nice. I mean, people have been crying out for this for years. A Khorne Berserker of some description riding a Juggernaut.
Can you sculpt a little juice box in a straw for him to drink through his grill, Mr.
That wouldn't be difficult, actually.
Oh,
that would be quite easy.
Make it a Capri Sun, because they're pretty good. Everyone likes a Capri Sun.
Oh, I adore Capri Suns.
They're good.
Me and Joseph get one every time we go on a train. It's our little treat for the train. Capri Sun and a bag of crisps.
He's a dual kit, isn't he, as well? He's
he's
the special character, the Lord Invocatus, right? And the Chaos Lord on Juggernaut, which is a bit of a throwback. We haven't had our Chaos Lords on Juggernauts for a long, long time.
Since Second Ed.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we had Chaos Lords on Juggernauts. So it's nice to see them back. And of course, this one's a wee bit more dynamic than the last one.
Yeah. There is a part of me that is tempted by the idea of trying to go back and just buy up some really old metal Juggernauts. Just because I love them. They're so shit.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
They're big and they're heavy, and they could do serious damage if you chuck them at somebody. But this guy's really cool. I love the just completely over the top Berserker helmet that's got the symbol of Khorne and then chain blades for its bunny ears. I mean, that's just bonkers, right?
And it does look like someone's just told him how much his boiler's going to cost to be replaced.
Yeah, he looks angry, doesn't he?
Well, that would make me angry.
Yeah.
No, I really like these guys. They're singing to me. They're singing a song of blood, and I might have to answer.
I know they're not, but the Terminators look new. But maybe it's because I just don't see a lot
of Chaos
Terminators much.
Yeah, they've just painted them. I think they're the mainstream Chaos Terminators in World Eaters colours, but they look good. I mean, they look really lovely. My guess is it's going to be the same as now. So they haven't got their bespoke Terminator unit like the Death Guard do and the Thousand Sons, but there's going to be, like in the Index Hereticus article, there's going to be a stratagem that lets you upgrade them to the Red Butchers.
Mm-hmm.
But no unique.
But no model, sadly.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame. It would be nice to see like a proper Red Butchers set, wouldn't it?
It seems in terms of units, it's going to be more Thousand Sunny. There's going to be very few unique models to buy for
very
them,
much so. They're a small kind of army. Which, as a Thousand Sons player, I think is fine, as long as they work as well as the Thousand Sons do, That's all they really need. And they are going to need a bit of a push because, traditionally, the World Eaters do suffer they've suffered since Second Ed, really, because almost every edition of Warhammer 40,000 has been long-range based.
Well, there was probably no incentive for GW to write good rules for them either, because they were using such old models, which people probably weren't buying, so why make them good?
It's true.
Yeah.
But it obviously now with the new miniatures and whatnot, hopefully hopefully as long as they've had as much effort as the Thousand Sons and the Death Guard put into them, they'll be fine.
Yeah. And also, and this is the other thing that's singing to me as well, Terminators. When's the last time you had an army that actually you saw Terminators and you just went, I fucking want them?
Yeah.
And I love Terminators.
Me too.
Honestly,
I'm a big
do.
Fan.
I adore the sculpts.
I
adore the design of the Terminators.
Come on, 10th edition. You can do it.
Well, it always annoys me that the Primaris don't have Terminators.
Doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, it's probably been a rumour forever, but one of the big rumours is that is going to happen in 10th Ed.
Just think about like the bunkers, the buggies, the weird baby carriage, and it's like, nah, we're not going to do Terminators.
Yeah,
a station with a turret on it. It's like, okay, a turret.
Yeah,
with a dude on the back.
It's one of those weird things. It's because the Terminator is such an iconic design to me. It is very much. You think of the 40k and you think of the Terminators. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
They haven't changed that much.
Not really, no.
You know,
I mean, they've added like different formats of Terminator,
Yeah.
And, in Chaos, obviously, there's lots of different types of Terminator now. But the basic outline is pretty much the same, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just weird to me that you just ignore your own history as you go forward. Fimiot, Skaven, Ghost Dwarfs.
But man, I do love those Chaos Terminators. They're like the mainstream ones. They are a beautiful kit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if they're the same, if they have the same options and whatnot, which it looks like they do, if they have the same options as they do in the mainstream Chaos Space Marine Codex, that's going to be a unit and a half, I can tell you. In a World Eaters Codex with all the benefits that they're going to have, they're going to be nasty. They're going to be really unpleasant.
The Chaos Lord and Terminator armor, that old kit is going to be used again for this army, right? There's no reason why they wouldn't use it.
I would have thought so,
I would have thought so. I mean, there's no reason why not, is there? If you're going to have Terminators, you've got to have a Terminator Lord as well, knocking about.
I think just in general, if you've got a Chaos Warband, you probably need to have someone in Chaos Terminator armor.
Of course you do.
High up, they're important.
Yeah. Obviously not the Chaos Sorcerer in Terminator armor, because he would find himself dead very quickly. Very quickly indeed. But yeah, no, it's an exciting thing. I mean, I don't even play World Eaters, but I love to see this stuff. I love to see. I mean, I'm going to get that book without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I just want to know what they've been doing. How Angron's coming back and why. What is he going to like summon them all together or something?
You know what would be a fun like little game, a little box game: Imperial Guard versus World Eaters. I think that would be quite interesting because you'd have the new range of the Imperial Guard with all the numbers, and then you'd have like a few World Eaters just eating them.
Yeah, and you couldn't
close.
You couldn't get
a little box game, I think.
Yeah, well, you couldn't get two armies that are more Antipodean, really. They're completely opposite ends of the spectrum, so that would make them really fun, right? Like a really fun.
Both armies that people are interested in, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if it would happen, but I think it would be a good idea to do it, because you get people who want World Eaters. I think generally most people like them. Most people seem to have been quite happy with the Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
And if you make it so that if you buy, if you make that box set something where you could just buy 5 or 6 boxes of it, and you could have like a massive IG army and or World Eater army.
Yeah.
You don't make it too specific, then it could be a really popular box set.
I think so.
I think you're probably right there, yeah.
I mean, that would probably be one of the more popular box sets, to be honest.
It would be better than, say, like doing World Eaters and Tau, or World Eaters and Dark Eldar,
Definitely.
Or Imperial Guard and Necrons, the older stuff that don't have as much new bits to them. Like,
I mean, who I'm trying to think of who the World Eaters haven't pissed off, who they don't have like an enmity with. It's pretty much everyone in 40k.
Well, they fight everybody. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't actually care. I'm trying to think of the ones they have an special enmity for, though. Like, I mean,
they hate.
The Space
Probably
Wolves.
They've
kind of got the Emperor's Children.
Oh, yeah.
The Emperor's Children are the big one. They hate the Emperor's Children
so talking about who loves them. Who loves the World Eaters? It's the Orcs. The Orcs love the World Eaters, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who likes a good fight,
Yeah. That's everybody in the 40k.
Yeah.
Orcs loves everybody. Think they're dumb, but they love them.
Yeah, I suppose the World Eaters get on really well in the 40k universe, don't they? Dedicated to the god of war, and it's like, well, no, in the grim darkness of the far future.
You've got purpose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Angron's massive, isn't he? He looks like he's going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to be as clearly as big as the other boys.
Yeah, at least, I mean, it looks like even hunched down as he is, he's going to be at least as tall as they are. So if he stood up, he'd be actually bigger than they are.
I want to know. So, the thought is that the World Eaters are going to be in a box coming up, yeah? Why are they not fighting orcs?
Yeah.
And why is they're not Kazgrul just running around proclaiming Yarek's death and saying, I'm going to fuck you up?
Because Yarek might not be dead.
Yeah, I love the fact they played with that. He might not be. Who knows, right?
No, I did just yes or no. Just underline it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dead or not.
You're not Slanesh. Stop people playing with people's things,
But
yes say no.
Where did he last have an official bit of Fluffy? Didn't he join the Black Templars? He joined the Black Templars in a crusade to kill Thraka. And that was the last we heard of him.
You are going back.
That was back to the
long time.
It was the Third War for Armageddon, wasn't it? It was the end of the Third War for Armageddon campaign, which was Third Ed. So, long time ago.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Oof.
My God.
I try not to think about that, to be
that
honest
was
with you.
a
That is going
long
back.
time ago. That
Sweet
little
little
pamphlet
God.
that you got, that was the third, that was the codex. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Anywho, shall we move on?
We can indeed. Let's move over to Age of Sigmar. Yeah. There's Age of Sigmar news, Andy.
There is Age of Sigmar news. I mean, it's small, but it's here.
There's a new Beast Lord, Andy.
Yes, there's a new Beast Lord.
Yeah, he's very underwhelming.
He looks all right. He's
more
more dynamic than
I would say he's not. He doesn't look good. I'd say he looks as basic bitch Beastman design as he could do.
Yeah, it's
There's
true.
Nothing interesting about him. He actually looks like a better sculpted Warhammer Fantasy mini.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like there's nothing special to make him pop.
Yeah, I'd agree. No. He could have done with AOSing a bit more, couldn't he?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
In fact, I think
maybe if you AOS'd him too much, he would look really stark in contrast to the rest of the never updated army. Maybe that's the issue.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're getting their book. So, that'll be another Chaos book. God, they're really hammering hard on the Chaos books in AOS, aren't they, at the minute?
Well, yeah, they're just dragging them out. They're not doing anything with them, so you may as well just put them out.
May as well just get them out there,
Yeah. I'm not even joking.
No, I mean, they're all good. They're all good, but they could.
It's so weird. At this point in time, you might as well retire Age of Sigmar and just have Warcry going.
Yeah.
Because Warcry is where all the interesting stuff is. It's such a weird fucking place to be.
I mean, is this all the Beastmen are getting too? The Beasts of Chaos?
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. They could have really done with...
How much did the ogres get?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
They got shit.
Yeah, that's a shame.
They got that one hero, didn't they?
Yeah, this guy's got one hero, and what's on the list of guys coming out? Actually, I was shocked that the Gloomspike gets. They didn't get one character. They got a unit, and I was like, oh my god, they got a unit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's impressive. And to be fair, these guys are gorgeous.
Yeah, it's kind of riding off of what they did for Underworlds ages and ages ago when they made the Goblin Riders. They look good, though. It's like...
They do look good.
There are some nice Wolf Riders now for the Gloomspike.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because Wolf Riders have been like the icons of Goblin armies since God knows when, haven't they? They've been like the core of fantasy Goblin armies for God knows when. And I don't know why my weird obsessive brain focused on this. It's the design of the harnesses that I really loved. because the designers have really thought about like, so how would these guys harness a wolf and ride it without restricting its movement? It's really cool. I think the design of the harnesses is really clever. I don't know why that impresses me, but it does.
See, I like the faces because they all look like good boys.
They do look like good boys, yeah, they do.
And I like the goblins, and I don't understand why. Right, so Goblin Wolf Riders have been around since the beginning.
Yeah,
I totally understand. Absolutely, okay. But these are the Gloomspite Gits. That's the name of the battle tome. It's Destruction Battle Tome, Gloomspite Gits.
Yeah, these are more fantasy, aren't they? They're more fantasy than AOS, where they should be more mushroomy, right?
These guys look like they're made for the old world, don't they?
Yeah.
Well,
they do.
Well, I mean, if you had a Mongolian-style goblin army out there, then yeah, absolutely, brilliant. And it's not like the fucking Hobgrots were in the fucking Crow Boys fucking book. Fuck's sakes. Which, okay, they've gone down a more Persian route than they have the Mongolian. That's fine, okay, brilliant. But these aren't Gloomspites, and they're going to stick out in the Gloomspites. And I don't want to be negative. I really, really don't want to be negative on it, because it drives me insane. But this is the type of shit I'm talking about.
No.
Yes, we've got really nice minis. They are really, really cool. I really like them. But they're going to don't fit with the fucking army they're coming out with.
This seems to be something that goes on a lot in AOS. Have you noticed? It's like the...
I think with specific armies.
Yes.
More so than anything.
Yeah. It's like, what's he called? Karagnos, the big Lord of Destruction guy?
Kragnos,
yeah. He doesn't fit with the armies that he belongs with.
He would have if he was in the Beastman army.
He would fit great. He would fit fine. He looks like a Beastman, right? Yeah. But he does not fit in the Orcs or any of the others. He just looks odd amongst them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no Mork and Gork about him. No. He looks chaos.
He does. He really, and I still think he may have originally been a Chaos Sculpt,
Rumour has it that you're absolutely right there.
He was going to be a Beastman character, was he?
Yeah, he, whilst not being a Chaos character, he was going to be a Beastman monster.
It just makes too much sense.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, he looks like the Beastman Centaur guys. What are they called? The best... I can't remember what they're called. Centaurs, that's it. Yeah. He looks like a big one of them, right?
Yep. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Like the king of them or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you could do his entire story exactly the same as it was and just have him meet the Beastmen and start leading the Beastmen, and it makes more sense on a visual manner, and it doesn't change his story in any real way.
Yeah. You could have his coming be called the Great Rumbling. Why is it called the Great Rumbling? Because it's when all the Centaurs in the world, in the realms charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it just sends like a gigantic shockwave across all the realms.
Yeah.
That splits open the boundaries and lets them ride through every realm.
Yeah, right.
A big threat. There you go.
Yeah, sounds good. That would have been really cool, actually.
And it just.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
I don't want to be negative. I really don't.
No, I mean, it's not being negative to point out issues.
But at this point, it just feels that we're just hitting the anvil every single time when it comes to AOS.
It's because they're not.
It's just this edition. It's had really good books.
That's the shame of it as well.
Really good story.
The books are great. The individual
that's not
battle
down to GW. That's down to the people who are writing the books. They're doing good work, and there's no shame on their part of going, hey, they're writing really good fiction. I don't know what the rules are like, but I assume they're good.
Actually,
because GW are not pushing any miniatures behind it. It doesn't matter.
That's the shame, isn't it? Because the game system is brilliant. It's one of the. It is the best version of AOS, without a shadow of a doubt. It's more unified. It's easier to use. The games are really quick. They're really quick.
Really frantic. Yeah.
Because it's just frantic, isn't it? Like things die like en masse in this game. It's unbelievable, It's not like 40k where you end up having to whittle stuff down bit by bit. Things just explode, in this game.
And every battle tome has been excellent.
Every single one, right? Every single one. thus far, there's not been a duff one amongst them.
Oh, granted, I haven't read the Ogres one
yet.
No,
I haven't yet, because I'm not that interested.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's fair. Yeah, I have no doubt it's perfectly fine.
But the quality of the books has been top-notch. Yeah. But every single time we see it, and here's the new book, and here's some half-assed stuff that we've thrown out to go alongside it. Yeah. And it's really starting to get to me.
And that seems like it's going to escalate, doesn't it? Because we've got, like, this time round, rather than the big narrative push being on AOS as it was last year with the Broken Realms, this time it's the Arcs of Omen, isn't it? So it's going to be 40k.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This time round.
And this is the thing that's annoying me really, really badly. So we had that, and I know I've said this before, we had that massive wave coming into this edition of Age of Sigmar, and I don't think I've ever been as excited for AOS as I was coming out of those 4 books, I should say. You know, I will still put my flag in the ground and say the Bellicor book is the best book Games Workshop's ever done.
It's fantastic. It is
fucking phenomenal.
It is really amazing. Without,
it is incredible. Every single thing that they do in that book, they don't just do it right. They hit the ball out of the park from the beginning to the end. It is marvelous. It is amazing.
I mean, all of them were good, weren't they? All of the Broken Realms books were good. You know, it's just that Bellicor was just so much better than all the others. You know?
Oh, it is. It's something that I don't think I've ever seen anything hit the ball that high. Nah. You know, from the giant fucking space battle at the beginning,
which was
to
amazing.
the smaller. Oh yeah, incredible. To the smaller moments between him and Oleander.
Yeah.
And just the reveal of Oleander's remains and all that type of stuff. It was absolutely spot on.
Yeah, it was
having the clouds come along that stopped the Stormcast from being able to go back to Azea.
Yeah, that
beautiful.
Was wonderful. Changing the metaphysics, right, of the realms.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Fucking brilliant. Teclis was really, really good.
Yeah,
it's
it was.
Surprising with
it
Teclis.
Was.
Yeah, everything that came out of Broken Realms, and the moment AOS 3 hit,
it just stopped, didn't it? And it's a shame because, like, the promise is amazing. Like the Dawnbringer Crusades, there's so much going on there.
And once again, the narrative behind it all is brilliant. How you have something like the Dawnbringer Crusade, and you're not doing something month after month with it.
Yeah.
That you're not having the Dawnbringer Crusade in like various parts of the books.
I mean, even
you
if
don't
it's
have
just
White
like
Dwarf doing the Dawnbringer Crusade for a year.
Exactly. Even if it's just not like, you know, fiction that's released on the Warhammer community, it's showing you what's happening, what the Dawnbringer Crusades are doing, what they mean in the realms, you know?
The amount of plot threads that are currently just hanging there, and they have been for over a year now. You know, it's ridiculous.
The most I've read
absolutely ridiculous
about the Dawnbringer Crusades, ironically, is in the Disciples of Zeech book, which it does move it on a little bit, and it moves on their background a bit as well. But it's not really enough, is it? It's contained to one book, you know.
Well, you can't throw the idea that the Dawnbringer Crusades happened because somebody has a vision and then just grabs everybody and goes walking out into the wilderness. You can't just leave it there.
Yeah.
You know. You have to do something with it. You have to keep that momentum going.
Definitely. I mean, it looks like...
And AOS has just shut the bed.
It has a
bit.
Absolutely.
We'll do a next edition. We'll wait.
Yeah. It's a shame. It is a shame, because like I say, 3.0 deserves better than this.
It does. It really does. And the annoying thing is, it's very easy to make the comment of it's doing the same thing that Warhammer Fantasy Battle did. But good God in heaven, the End Times did more than AOS is doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more the idea that GW's ignoring it. That's what.
That's the problem. Like, that's the problem. They kind of are, aren't they? I mean, that's very clear. And don't get me wrong, I love most of the stuff that's happening in 40k. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to get a little bit of balance going on, wouldn't it? You know.
Yeah. AOS is my preferred setting, and it breaks my heart that it's just not. Yeah,
there's so much potential there.
Warcry,
so
Warcry is fucking incredible. Warcry is doing so much in world building, and the miniatures coming out are great, and they're getting a great push. And Warcry is superb. But come on, you know, And we know that 40k is going to get the spotlight for the next 8 months.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably going to be that stretch.
So effectively, about 2 years of 40k and nothing, potentially nothing for AOS. AOS might get something, but I think the problem is if a new edition of 40k comes out, it'll be overshined again by the company. They'll put that on the secondary system.
It's a real shame, because from what I understand, people have told me the Slaves to Darkness book is fabulous. It's apparently a really, really good book, and come on, I mean, if the general quality of AOS is this good, it deserves more support, doesn't it? It deserves more of a push,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird world we live in where Underworld seems to be getting more of a space in the release schedules and the amount of work that goes into it.
And I don't get me wrong, these Underworld's warbands are fab. All of them are. They're so absolutely interesting, aren't they? I mean, I love these guys. The Band of Gits, yay!
What could the Night Goblin infantry unit look like if redone today? This is what they'd look like.
This is what they'd look like, right?
Same with the other one that they did, the one that I have, whatever those guys were called. They were really good as well. These ones are better because they're obviously new, so they got more design to them. But it's just like, hey, look how cool we could make Night Goblins if we made a unit of them.
Every little individual miniature, a little comedy piece, right?
I mean,
it's
in this band,
brilliant.
there are goblin. There's a unit you can make of goblin spears, which are the lances with the weird.
The squigs.
Tip.
Yeah.
And then you've got a unit that you could make of just ones with swords and shield, or you could make that 2-person kit. You've got the blow dart guns, so you could replace the archers and have them as blow darters.
Yeah.
You've got the one with the squig at the end of the stick, but I don't
brilliant.
That's probably a character. I don't know what you. I don't know if that could be a unit. But then you've got.
I don't know.
Hoppers. Squig hoppers are fine.
I'd love to see that as a unit. I mean, that's a Labyrinth reference, surely.
But yeah, I suppose it depends how
that guy
works.
is a Labyrinth reference. He looks, I mean, even his armor looks like the armor of those guys, right? With the sticks with the little monsters on the ends.
Yeah.
I think he's more of a character because of the design of his armor versus the more standard look of the other goblins.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a potential siege unit with the shield with the goblin shooter thing.
Yeah.
There's a siege unit you could make. And then you have another character. The character's fine. He doesn't look bad. He just looks. He looks similar to the previous goblin leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's just what the goblin leaders look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the fact that the Moon Clan have this weird night aesthetic to them. I adore it.
The moon
I
stuff.
Adore
that's very cool, isn't it? I like that a lot.
It's all the armor and stuff on them as well. They're just, I freaking love them. I absolutely adore everything that comes out new for the Moon Clan. They just look great. They look absolutely brilliant.
I like the little musician who's using a mushroom as his trumpet.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
Well, I thought that was a blow dart.
I think it's blow darts.
Yeah. Oh, is it blow darts? Is that what it is?
That's why I mentioned a blow dart unit.
Right.
I saw that and thought I could do that. Kind of like skinks.
Although, if I was crazy and I made an army using nothing but this box, I would use him as a musician. That would be crazy.
It's a lovely little warband, this is. I mean, each miniature...
I noticed nobody says no, Adam. That's crazy. No. Don't do it. Thanks for that.
Well, it'd be appropriate. I mean, I would recommend if you did that, you take the squig from the stick and you replace the mushroom with the squig so he's blowing through the
swig. No, it's lovely. It's a lovely little set, that is.
Yeah, I love it.
Very charming.
I really do like it.
Very charming. The Loon Court's Gits. It's awesome.
And yet depressing, because it's such a good look at what could be if they put effort into the
it's true. It's true.
Tell you what, though, I'm going to keep an eye on the Warhammer Art website. For the moment that the art for this box goes up, I'm probably going to buy it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
I really like it. Yeah, I just really like it. I think it's just so perfect. Oh, it is blow dart, yeah, because the art shows him throwing projectiles out of it.
There is a little like spike on the mushroom as well. You can see protruding.
Yeah, I really like these guys. I think they're fantastic.
Do you think he takes off the mask and he's like the Skeksis Emperor and he's missing bits of his face?
He's missing bits of... that might be it, you know. That might actually be it.
I really like the idea.
He sniffed too many mushrooms and his nose has fallen off.
I think that might be it, yeah.
Or like Daniela Westbrook.
Yeah.
There's a comment. I like the idea of these goblins going up to the Loom King and doing like, trial by stone. Trial by banjo. Trial by banjo. Yeah, I really like these
It's a
guys.
lovely set.
Beautiful.
It's a lovely little set. And we've got another one over in Necromunda as well, of course.
We do indeed.
I mean, these guys are awesome. They're just like... You know what they remind me of? You know that some of the vehicles you used to be able to get in the old He-Man toy range?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's the colours that do it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The colours kind of remind you of like... Especially the blue, it kind of reminds you of like 80s toy lines.
I love this whole aesthetic in Necromunda of technology that's just like cobbled and strapped together from other things. And this just emphasizes that to the nth degree. All of these look like they're made out of crashed vehicles, bits of spaceships and whatnot. Very cool. I mean, they are lovely, dynamic miniatures, these things.
So, who would be up for an idea of getting some of these and playing the old Bretonian joust game
with these?
Yep.
Only if you make hobble together a not the actual like ringside like cardboard setting. You'd need to make it out of like little bits of timber and wood to make it look like a rundown Mad Max version of the background.
And we need to do bespoke rules for the frag lancers.
Of course, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, the notion of sticks with grenades on the end that blow up. It's just brilliant. Love it.
There'd also have to be rules for one of them where you get the light from the front shining in your eyes and blinding you. But yeah, I mean, I can hear these things running down the...
you can sort of hear the sound that they would make, right? And you can sort of see how they'd be animated.
I think they're superb.
Yeah, they are lovely.
I love Necromunda. Necromunda is so good. Everything about it. It's just... I love the journey that Necromunda's been on, and this is where we're now at, and it's just great.
I love the books. I've got almost all the books that have been released thus far. They're like the rule books, and they are amazing. There's so much stuff, like lore, packed into them. It's beautiful stuff. Great world building.
Oh, yeah. I'm loving the fact that the way that Necromunda works, it's not that difficult now to really make a bespoke Imperial Guard army.
Not at all. I mean, you can kind of do what you like in Necromunda at the moment. The rule set's so wide open.
Oh, God, yeah.
It kind of lets you put together whatever you like.
The poorly funded Imperial Guard army.
Yeah,
we're not going to give them money. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah, the Poor Boys Brigade.
Yeah, right.
What planet are you from? Trash World.
Please, sir, I'd like some funding. More?
But yeah, I really like these guys.
Yeah,
I think they're fantastic.
They are fun.
They're
not my aesthetic, but I think they're very good for what they're doing.
Yeah. Again, lots of effort put into Necromunda, which just seems to be the way of it, right?
I don't know how I feel about like the writers all having like little elementary school boy brown shorts on. I've just noticed they all have them, and it looks really weird, especially with their like big Mickey Mouse sized shoes on.
I did not notice, but I have now.
It's weird, right?
Maybe you're right. Maybe they all do come from the same school or something. It's a uniform.
Yeah, there might be orphans. I don't know. Maybe I'm making fun of orphans. I don't know.
Oh God!
What's that book? The is it Tom Brown?
Oh, Tom Brown's School Days.
Yeah. So the Necromunda version of Tom Brown's School Days involves giant mechanical walkers and exploding lances.
Can you even imagine? Oh,
matron, I think Jonathan's just blown his arm off again.
I love the idea of something written in that style set on Necromunda. You could do it. You could do it if it was in the upper hive. You could have all that polite comedy of manners with just like the subtext underneath. It would actually work. My God.
It's one of the things where I kind of wish that they would push a bit more with Necromunda.
The upper hive.
We've got the Warhammer Crime, we've got Warhammer Horror. Let's just really throw some weird shit into Necromunda.
Yeah.
Let's have Warhammer Romance.
Well, because we know it's there. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
There's been, in some of the Horus Heresy books, there are romantic entanglements. There are like couples, and more than that, because at the beginning of the Great Crusade, bizarrely, it's quite an open culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that seems to have gone away quite a bit.
It's a shame.
I can't imagine there's that much space for romance in the present day of the 41st millennium.
I am fairly sure that you can get a couple of people together to have a blind date on Necromunda. Go on.
Oh my God, you'd have a servitor Cilla Black kind of organising it.
Nice to see you. See you, nice.
Program's staticking again. Bunker on the head.
I am Cecilia Blackhole. Moving on.
Yes.
What else do we have?
We've got the big stuff that's happening. I mean, this is the rumour mongers who've basically been right about everything up to this point have been talking about the Arcs of Omen books for a long time. They've been saying that the end of 9th Ed and the beginning of 10th Ed are going to have this big narrative campaign push, and that looks to definitely be the case. I mean, these things look like Broken Realms for 40k.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is great for me because it's all chaos. Yay. As it should be. And it looks like the other thing that they've been saying, the rumour mongers, is that this is going to do for 40k what the Broken Realms did for AOS, so it's going to change the setting.
Kill it.
Well,
kill it dead.
It's going to change the setting in some peculiar way. So who knows? Maybe some of the narrative stuff that they've set up since the beginning of like 8th Ed is going to pay off now.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, we've got Abaddon back. We've got Abaddon back, which is good. We've got Angron coming back, which is going to be very interesting. I imagine he's going to be making a beeline for certain planets. I mean, Armageddon would be my best bet.
I would not be surprised. So, if we have a look in the Arcs of Omen Abaddon content page, which is on here, we have the coming of Vashtor.
Yay!
The Arcs of Omen, the Unhallowed, Reprisals. Okay, so that's the chapter headings.
Yep.
Brilliant. Okay, sweet. My guess would be that Angron's book is going to have meeting Vashtor, killing Yarok, running like shit from the orcs. Gazgrul just ate my ass. And that'll be the contents for that one. No? Oh, okay. Fair enough. I'm by myself on that one. Fair enough. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think this is going to be the same thing. And there's a couple of things here that I really like. I like the boarding actions game. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
So it looks like they're going to actually, for the end of 40k, they're going to change it up a bit. So this is going to change the dynamic of 40k, because this is actually a rule set for 40k, isn't it? It's not like Kill Team. It's not separate. So it's boarding actions in a 40k system. So suddenly the dynamics of the armies are going to change completely. Certain armies that were maybe not as well regarded beforehand are now going to be really good, and others maybe not so much.
Drakari's gonna get a beating.
Maybe. I mean, I can't imagine the Astra Militari are going to be that great in this.
It depends, actually, if you take the borders or not from the Kill Team games. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I really like the idea of playing in like Space Hulks and stuff.
I like that.
That's going to be tons of fun.
Lot. I'm all into that, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really excited by having more like narrative stuff.
That's what gets
lore
me.
Books coming in.
That's what gets me. This is great for the end of an edition and the beginning of a new one, isn't it? To introduce a big big narrative campaign that's going to change stuff, that's going to introduce new stuff. I mean, the fourth book, with all we know about it, is that it involves a Xenos race. That's all we know.
And rumour mill is it's a whole new army.
Yeah, that's what the rumours are saying. It's a whole new, what they want to do, because we've had the Votan, which are a resurrection, like they're a nostalgia piece, right? They're a resurrection of an old favourite. They want to introduce, for the first time since the Tau, an entirely new race to 40k, which is...
Is it a good idea when there's still like units that they definitely need to update?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true.
Should you not have you clean your house before like introducing another thing to the pot?
That's definitely true. I mean, that said, I am excited to see what they do with it.
Sure, yeah, it'll be nice to see what it is, but sort your house out first.
I am in complete agreement with you there, Andy. I'm super excited by the idea of some new Xenos race.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, because there's a lack of non-humanoid looking creatures in 40k.
Yeah, there are. That's definitely true.
If they can get really alien with something, I'm all up for it.
That would be fun.
Now, of course, there's the entire sort of theory that a bipedal creature with 2 arms, symmetrical body is the best way for life to continue. But I want something with fucking multiple eyes and shitloads of legs.
You want something Lovecraftian, don't you? Something that looks like the Great Old Ones or something.
The Enslavers return.
Yeah, right.
I would be up for that as a fucking idea. It would actually be a very, very good way of doing it as well, because it would only be a small model count, because enslavers would just be then taking everything from everybody else's army.
That's true, yeah, because they just possess everyone else, right? Yeah.
Which would make for a really interesting force, You'd have to be very bloody careful with the rulebook on that one, but
that would have to take some consideration, that would.
My enslavers have possessed nothing but 40 titans.
Yeah, right.
Motherfucker. All right. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot there which will be really interesting to see, and I'm excited to see it. But I agree with you, Andy, that there's a lot of old Eldar stuff that really needs
spiders.
looked at.
Yeah,
warp spiders.
Retire the warp spiders, for God's sake. Yeah, Phoenix. Most of the Phoenix Lords obviously still need redoing.
And of course, the big hope is that it's an army that looks good but doesn't really interest me, because that would also be nice.
Yes, it would be annoying if they're really appealing. I've got to say, it would be annoying.
If there's lots of legs, then I might be interested. I want something with lots of legs.
And it's also the fact we just had a brand new army in the Votan. Now you can't see the spots, but that's potato, the same.
Yeah,
thing.
It's true. Yeah, you're absolutely true.
We've just had a new army, and to do another new army just after that as well, before it's had even like time to settle, with the potential with the Dark Mechanicus coming out, no guarantees. But the idea is that might happen as well. It's like this is slow down. Take care of your house. Give a little love to the other game systems.
Take a breath,
we've seen before. And then we can go back to 40k, not next year, but the year after. How about 2024?
Take a breath. Let it ferment a little bit,
I was meant to say earlier on, actually, and I apologise, I forgot to say it. I do understand that they are building the entire cities of Sigmar up from ground.
Yeah.
So I understand that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's a completely new army.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. But...
Well, they got the vote out pretty quickly, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Well, there's like a 3-year development cycle on these things, so fair enough. But yeah, so we've just had the Votan, another army coming off of 40k, and the cities of Sigmar are still being worked on now, and you just, God, come on. But to stay positive, I really do like what the Arcs of Omen look like.
Me too.
Having a Broken Realms level of narrative going into 40k.
Yep.
I'm all in.
And also, for the end of the edition, it's a lovely explosive way of leading us into 10th, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm always happy to hear about Angron.
Yeah, me too. Angron's always cool. Yeah. And Abaddon, it's nice to have Abaddon back as the arch villain, right? After, because we haven't seen him technically in the background since Vigilus, right?
Although that picture does make him look like he's sniffed one of Angron's farts.
He looks offended. He looks offended, doesn't he? It's sort of like... Yeah.
I like how human Abaddon looks.
Yes, I mean...
It's an interesting
choice and makes sense with regards to what he's actually like in the background, right? Because he resists chaos, right? Mm-hmm. You know, he resists the influence of chaos upon himself. So, yeah, makes sense.
He's surprisingly quite a nice guy.
Bizarrely, actually. In Aaron Dembski Bowden's books, bizarrely affable. Mm-hmm. He's not what you expect at all.
No, I absolutely love him. I absolutely love him in those books. So moving on.
We've got Vashtor.
Yeah, let's talk about Vashtor.
Barata
Nictum.
Wow.
Right, two things. One, I thoroughly enjoyed the Discord going off that this guy sounds like Nicolas Cage in Lord of War.
Makes sense. Right. Actually makes sense. That sounds brilliant.
Which has made me want to now try and find some Lord of War MP3, like get some sound bites from that film and just put them to him just to see what it looks like. And two, the miniature is fucking incredible.
It's amazing. I mean, the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking this is maybe one of the best Chaos miniatures we've had for years. Its aesthetic is just... This is what the artwork for Chaos has looked like for years, but the miniatures have never really been able to sort of equal it, to live up to it. This is something else. And also an aesthetic of Chaos that we haven't really seen in miniatures form before, that's entirely removed from the symbolism of the four great powers, right? Mm-hmm. It's Chaos in and of itself. It's something different. It's the warp made manifest, and I love that. I love that to bits.
I would say he looks like a Chaos, the Siege beasts and whatnot. Like, his legs look exactly the same, like some of the bits I have from some of my kits. You know, the ones that have the big dog faces, but they have the big arms as well and the big legs.
Oh, the demon
I
engines.
see what you're saying.
The demon engines, Well, there's definitely...
He's got the exact same kind of leg design, like with the pistons coming through the flesh.
Well, there's definitely aesthetics carried over, because that's kind of what he is. He is the... He's kind of like the manifestation of all of that in the warp. But he looks sufficiently removed from everything else to be something new, and I just love that. The fact that they are experimenting a little bit with Chaos now, that they're just introducing new elements, not only in the miniatures range, but the background too. So this guy he's not beholden to any one of the four great powers. He's not a demon that belongs to any of them. He's an independent warp entity, part of Chaos as a whole, but not part of any one of the four great powers. He's an independent power and a demigod in waiting, potentially a god in and of himself at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Love it. I think that's fantastic. And also, because he's independent, apparently he's an arbiter in the great game. So, like, the great metaphysical game between the four great powers, he arbitrates it. He basically sets out the rules and tells them to pack it in if they're getting a bit uppity, or if they're bending the rules too much. It's really cool. I love that.
That's superb.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful?
There's so much going on here with him that just absolutely blows my mind. And if this is what the Dark Mechanicum are going to have
that's another thing. That's another thing. They're very slowly introducing the Dark Mechanicum, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because according to the background, this guy they love. They basically worship him as their principal god, so...
Yeah. I'm looking at the mention, just all the stuff in there. He will be a fucker to paint. That much.
Yeah, he would. He would. I mean, the metal bits aren't too difficult because it's just the old classic dry brush stuff, isn't it, for them? But the flesh parts with all the sort of wires and stuff, that would be difficult. That would be.
And his finely tuned butt cheeks. Like, Jesus Christ!
I did not notice that, but.
Christ Almighty! This guy does squats. I'm telling you now. I'm going to rephrase that.
Yeah,
I'm going to rephrase that sentence.
That, definitely.
This man never skips butt day. But I love him.
It's the wings I like
haunting.
the best.
Yeah.
The wings are fabulous. According to the video about him, they're not even really wings. They're kind of like fine-tuned instruments for crafting and whatnot.
Oh god, I can actually see how they would move around.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can see it in the artwork at the bottom. If you look at the artwork, you can see them sort of bending round to sort of manipulate things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's absolutely awesome.
His big wiggly hammer.
Yeah. Which has been a rumour engine for almost a year.
It has.
That has.
Yeah.
And his hand
easily,
with the flamer in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's gorgeous.
Yeah,
he's also got the old school car lighter, cigarette lighter for ice. That's not my joke. That was from Twitter.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah,
he kind of does.
Although I would want to remodel him so he's playing his hammer like a guitar. Because he does look like he's from the front of some 80s power metal album.
I mean, he looks like how I would expect Perturabo to maybe look. Or rather, he has elements of that in him, you know? As a demon prince.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if he has any special connection to Medrengard and the Iron Warriors. I bet they do like him.
Oh, what was his name? The Iron Hands...
Ferrus Manus?
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if it was Ferrus Manus corrupted?
Oh, God, that'd be brilliant.
You know, because he's missing a hand anyway, which is now completely metal.
Yeah.
And he's clearly a demon of the Forge.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
right.
I don't think he is, but it would be funny if it was like his corrupted... What's left of his corrupted soul was twisted into
funny.
this.
That would be funny.
And would be something that Fulgrim would do to be a bitch.
To be an absolute bitch, yeah. Absolutely.
I like would be behind that, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
And it would also, from a narrative perspective, be really disheartening for them to eventually find out.
Yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't
Ferrus, oh, fuck, no, Ferrus.
Well, one of the more... I mean, it's been a rumour for ages, actually, so it's probably not the case, but one of the consistent rumours about Lehman Russ is that he was going to be returning as, like, a warp-corrupted, like, wolf-like entity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so up for that.
He is corrupted.
I'm so up for that.
Yeah.
Oh God!
I'm kind of not, because he would be on the same team as Magnus, and Magnus, I think.
Oh no, not evil. He wouldn't be a chaos entity. He would be corrupted. He would be like physically corrupted, but not.
Oh. Not chaotic on the chaos
no.
side. Okay, all right.
But he'd be like a big wolfen, you know, a giant wolfen.
I could get behind that.
I'd be up for that myself.
Yeah, sure.
I'd be totally up for that. I mean, there's also...
the Inquisition was sent after him, or the Grey Knights of the Black Templar, to be like, we got to kill you
because you're a chaos entity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that technically already happened with the bombing of Fenris, with the War of Magnus, you know, because because they allow the Wolfen, who are technically chaos mutants, you know, the Inquisition and the Dark Angels did bombard Fenris at one point. They said sorry, but they did.
So they got more than the Thousand Sons got. They never got a sorry.
No, they didn't. The Thousand Sons have never had one word, one whisper of an apology. Yep. Thank you very much.
Even though it was orchestrated by the War Master, granted the Emperor wasn't happy with him, but he wasn't in for like bombing Magnus.
No, and I think, you know, Lehman Russ is way too ready to be doing that, you know?
Oh, God, yeah.
He could have actually descended and said, look, you can just come to Terra with me.
Come to Terra, yeah.
You know?
You're under arrest, Dad wants to have a chat with you. You fucked up.
And you know, the funny thing is, the way Magnus was at that point, he'd have probably said, all right, fine.
100%. Yeah.
Fine, you know, sure, why not? I don't give a shit anymore.
Should we move on to some Warcry?
Yeah, let's have a look. What's going on in Warcry?
So there's a new Warcry coming, Sundered Fate, and it has got in it some amazing skinks and some really cool Zechian guys.
I like them. I love the Zechi guys. They're very cool, aren't they?
They're very, very cool. I'm really into them. However, I want to talk mostly about the skink that's dressed as a Seraphon warrior, wearing his little hat and his little shield, and he is the cutest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life, and I want one as a pet. I really like what they've done with the chameleon skinks. I think they look gorgeous. They're so good.
They are brilliant, aren't they? They're a really interesting, like, new aesthetic for the skinks and whatnot. I mean, it's great with the fact they're introducing like different reptilian species, different lizard species into them. I like that. I really like.
They always had chameleons. They were the invisible skirmishers.
That's right.
But it's nice to see them actually take an infantry role rather than just spitting darts and running away like bitches, which is super annoying in the game.
Yeah,
at least in Total War Warhammer. It's nice to see them pick up a shield and go do some bonking.
Although, that was a way of taking down a bloodthirster in fantasy battle.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Were they too fast for him to
catch?
And
if you had enough in your army, because they spat poison darts, if you remember, and if they just fired enough, they would take out the bloodthirster.
Yeah, no.
It happened in a White Dwarf battle report once.
It did. Yep, I remember it well.
I'm assuming like they had infinite ammo, right?
Yeah.
'Cause that's how they got like that's how all archer units or range units are kind of curtailed in Total War. They've got a limited amount of ammo.
It's never been the case in any of the Warhammer games.
Yeah, it'd be hard to manage.
Well, it would be a pain, wouldn't it? You'd have to keep track of it, and it would be like, God, that'd be annoying. I like the artwork that goes along with this as well, where you've got like the void ship that's crashed.
Yep.
That's so cool, right?
The Talaxis. Yeah, there's the idea of this Warcry is really good.
It is, like, narratively, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a crashed ship that probably crashed during the beginning of Bellicor.
Very likely. Very likely.
But it says here, knocked out of orbit in ages past. But I'm gonna stick with what I say. The idea that everyone's after it because it's got all sorts of weird treasures in it, and then you see the actual ship, and you're like, "Holy fuck, that's massive!"
It's
Do you
very
think like
impressive.
a future Warcry thing will be picking some of the Ark of Omens stuff and have indoor battles on the ship? That'd be quite
possible
silly and fun. If it works,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great fun. I'd love to see like a miniature game where you do that. You go inside one of the void ships. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be all up for that. I really like the way that they've changed the rules in Warcry, so the actual scenery's going after you as well. Yeah, there's a giant likeness of Lord Croak, and it just shoots at you if you get too close to it.
That's fun.
That's cool.
I think
balls of light that float around.
I think the skinks are the first full set of miniatures in Warcry that I all like. I like the dinosaur birds. I like the spitty dude. I like the dudes with the clubs. They're my favorite aesthetic so far from Warcry. They're all like, usually I would like one or two or three. I wouldn't like the whole range. I like the whole range of these guys. They look all nice.
Yeah, they're very cool.
They look really good.
They're very, very cool. And they've been, again, these guys have been rumor engineering for a long time. Long time. There's been suggestions of them for God knows how long.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm very, very impressed with that. I like Warcry. I like Warcry a lot.
Very much so.
Yeah, I think Warcry is an incredible little game. It's got a great system. It works better than Kill Team in my eyes.
I just like what it's doing for the world as well, for the wider world. Like the way it's expanding the aesthetics of the world massively. So, like, the very narrow aesthetics that tend to be defined for each of the races and the armies is expanding like you wouldn't believe, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look what it's done for Chaos. Like, the different cultists and societies and cultures and belief systems that now exist under that purview. Love it. Love it.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I absolutely adore it. So we're going to finish up then with the last one, which is going back to Necromunda with the corpse harvesting party.
These guys. Wow. Wow. I mean, again, Necromunda, what the hell? I mean, the amount of effort that's chucked at these guys is unbelievable. These are like John Blanche paintings, right?
Yeah.
Come to life.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little guy who's got a little like Russian hat and Russian coat and a beaky plague doctor-y bird mask. and he's got like a little machine that's just taking all the flesh off a corpse. And I need him.
It's fantastic. I mean, these guys, I want this set. I just want this set.
Yeah.
It is amazing. My
good
favorite.
Custom fodder. Super good custom fodder.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite by far is the noble that's leading them.
Yeah.
She's something else, isn't she? Just everything about her I find fantastic. The detail in her is unbelievable, and the atmosphere that surrounds her.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, she's from a horror story, right? She's from a 40k horror story.
Oh, absolutely. She stepped right out of some pages, like. And, I mean, I'm looking at them, and I'm kind of left speechless in how to describe what I'm feeling. I absolutely adore what they've done here.
Yeah.
I mean, even do I want them to play a game with? Maybe. Do I want them to make a diorama with? Very likely. You know, you make something absolutely beautiful, like a little courtroom type moment out of them, and they're just so heads and tails above anything else on the market.
Yeah.
They're absolutely incredible.
They're morbid. There's something really macabre about them. Yeah, they're beautiful, these things.
And the little bone scrivener servitors that are with them, you know,
which are creepy as all hell, aren't they? I mean, even more so than your normal, like, servitors and servo skulls and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, these are just incredible. There's no other word for it.
Yeah.
They are absolutely incredible. Downside is they are Forge World.
Oh, are they? Right. Oh.
Yeah. Which is an annoyance.
That is an annoyance, but my God, I mean, I'm I don't mind that much. They're so good.
Yeah. No, they are. They're heads and tails above so much. Yeah, these are the type of things I've always wanted to see coming out of Necromunda. Just these weird little corners.
The cults and the societies and those weird corners and echelons of that society. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is beautiful. I love this little dude. I think this little dude, with a little hat and his little mask, he's just incredible. I've just realised he's got a mechanical arm.
He does. He does have a mechanical arm, yeah.
Yeah. He's incredible. He is absolutely superb, and yeah, I'm just absolutely blown away by them. And it looks like the corpse grinder, the part of the corpse grinder gang as well, because that's what those heavies are that are with them. Yeah, just blown away. Absolutely blown away by this. I'm just shocked. And of course, we had the tank as well, didn't we? Which I didn't put into the list, but that new big half plastic, half resin tank's been announced as well, hasn't it?
Oh, I didn't. I saw bits and pieces of that.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I'm gonna have to close this page because I'm just staring at
them. Yeah, they are beautiful. I mean, these are some of the most impressive miniatures. They really are stunning pieces. I'd love them just to paint. You know, just
same.
have around.
And I think there's every chance that I might just do that because they are stunning, and I think a little diorama for them as well would not go amiss. Something with a couple of electronic parts. And some lights and
I'm
things.
thinking like an abattoir space for these guys, something like that, or maybe like the Necromundan equivalent of a cemetery or something, or a dumping ground for bodies.
Yeah, have them just digging up some corpses. Yeah, that's the stuff.
Go proper gothic with them,
Yeah, beautiful. Right, what are we on? It's okay. I think we have time for a little bit of fun. If you guys are up for a little bit of fun,
I hate fun.
So I'm going to send you guys a link. There it is. Right. So what we're going to do, if someone's got something they can write on,
I might do. Hang on. Let's see what I've got down here.
I'm just going to stick this in the link channel. There we go. So I've put a roll D1000 into the links because what we're going to do to finish off is we're going to use a little book that I recently got. A book called Grave Mutations, which is for the Frostgrave and Stargrave system. But I feel that this could be something quite fun.
What's it about?
It is basically a book that is a D1000 table to make mutations for your armies. Or for your... yeah.
So what, is it a D1000?
D1000, yeah. So I've sent you the link for the D1000. It's just in the channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll 3 dice each and see what we get. Would you like to go first, Andy?
Okay, yep, sure. Let me click the roll. 939.
939, he says.
939, I say.
939, hang on. So, Andy...
It's not an easy book to get across in any kind of speed, I'm afraid. I'm just finding it now. I'm on 950, 939.
939.
The Will to Live.
No. No.
Once per game, if this figure is reduced by 0 health by an attack, it may instead remain on the table at 1 health. However, if it is later reduced to 0 health, it suffers -2 to its survival roll. So you have the will to live.
No. Okay.
Okay. George, do you want to take your first roll?
I got 79.
The other side of the damn book.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
See, if only you got 69, I could have said nice.
Yeah. Oh, well. 10 off, I'm afraid.
Too much energy in that there, Andy. Too much energy. You've got to say it with the most bored expression that you can possibly get. Just, nice.
No, I'm not bored by it. I'm pleased for George.
79, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Long neck.
Oh, God,
you have an elongated neck, which unfortunately makes it vulnerable. You suffer D6 damage anytime you suffer a critical hit.
Brilliant. Great. Didn't I get just universally bad rolls last time as well? I seem to recall that happening.
I think you did. Yeah.
It's only your first one, though. You could get some good
stuff
later.
It's true.
Right, I'm going to roll mine, and I get 432.
Oh, right in the middle, give or take.
Yeah.
432. Barbs. I have small barbs in my hands and arms that make it difficult for enemies to escape my grasp.
Oh, you're like a male cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, Andy, do you want to do your second roll?
Sure. 276.
276, he says.
I say that.
276, he says.
I say it.
I'm almost there. I'm on 264. 276.
Yeah.
Ink spew. Once per game, this figure may spray ink in all directions.
I don't need ink to do that, lads. Oh.
Okay, George, do you want to take your second roll?
Sure. Let's see what we get this time. 519. I got this time.
519. Okay. 519. And large antennae. You have large antennae, which help you perceive the world.
Okay, long neck and large antennae. This is, again, like, aesthetically, this is weird.
554. Sorry, 454, I should say. 454. I get... I'm a beast caller. Twice per game, this figure may spend an action to summon any nearby beast. Barbs and beast caller.
Yeah, there's like an aesthetic building up around yours. It feels
Don't
like
hug those beasts.
Yeah, right. It feels like a sort of, like a mutant creature of the wilderness or something, which is kind of cool.
All right, Andy, do you want to take your third mutation?
Yes.
Third and final.
116.
116.
116.
Okay. Going as fast as I can. 116 is Glimpses of Doom. You're cursed with glimpses of your own doom. If you ever roll a natural 20 for initiative, this figure receives no actions in its next activation. So you've got a will to live.
I was going to say,
but You also see your own doom.
That's really interesting. I mean, like, immediately you've got, like, narrative tension.
And I've got, like, an ability to get away from danger as well.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Okay, George, take your third and final roll, please.
653.
Making me jump all over the place. 653, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've got... You're clumsy.
For God's sake.
Oh, no.
Long neck, large antennae, clumsy. Great.
Oh, God, right. Let's see what I get for my third and final. 242.
George, you sound like you'd be more appropriate in the Evil Dead universe with this kind of role.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It reminds me of the granny thing from Evil Dead 2, you know?
Yeah.
Troll form. Whenever this figure takes damage, it must take a will roll. If it fails, replace this model with an uncontrolled snow troll.
Okay, that's, again, bestial, you know? That actually fits.
Could have been worse. Could have been turned into a toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. There is one of these which is were-toad, which is every full moon you turn into a toad.
God, that's disappointing, isn't it? Jesus. If you're going to be aware anything, you want it to at least be like a dangerous creature.
Yeah, it's really sad to just be a toad for a night, isn't it?
Toads. I mean, that's just inconvenient and annoying.
What do toads do at night? Do they do anything?
Well, they're mostly nocturnal, aren't they? They're mostly nocturnal, toads are, so... But even so, I mean, it's just a ball ache, isn't it? You know, turning into a toad every full moon.
You're smaller, you can't get as far.
Yeah. You have to prepare for it, don't you? I've got to make sure I've got all my stuff done before I turn into a toad later.
I need to go into the bathtub.
Yeah, God, so I don't dry out.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Not good at all. So, what I've got for a character then is that I am the worst shaman in the world. My name is Dirk Dogbones, and I was thrown out of my tribe. For every time I tried to use the shamanic powers of the wilderness, I would blow up pigeons. As a result, I've had to become self-taught, and I have been bitten once by a troll. Clearly. So in times of great stress, I become a uncontrollable troll creature that just smashes everything up.
Oh, dear.
I think you'll find I'm Dirk Dogbones, and I spend my entire time trying to talk to pigeons.
I don't think mine has a name. I think it probably goes around going duh a lot.
Well, you seem slightly animal-like to me. Can I try and use my powers to help you out?
At falling down in sludge and dirt and whatnot. I think it's probably the kind of creature that's like, it's like taunted by the local villagers and whatnot, and it just provides comedy. I think that's
that
what
one
it is.
Simpsons episode, please kill me. Every moment I live is agony.
I think, yeah.
As you put your head into a wheelbarrow and wheelbarrow yourself around.
Yeah, I think that's probably its lot in life.
I've got some space on my latest team. Do you want to come and join Dirk Dogbones' Dangerous Boys?
No, I think it'd probably be too dangerous.
You'd be more of a danger to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's probably likely. First spike pit or cliff or whatever, and he's going in.
I think we need some form of distraction.
Maybe you're clumsy in like a really useful way to everybody else, though. So like we're all falling off a cliff, and your head like gets wrapped around a tree, and everybody grabs onto your body. So maybe you all survive, but you're in pain. Yeah.
So you push him forward, and he activates all the traps. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. What you'll be is you'll be like goofy clumsy.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it seems really clumsy, but when the chips are down, that clumsiness will end up with you skateboarding a perfect score and winning the girl.
I don't want
I've
that.
seen an extremely goofy movie.
I definitely don't want that.
Well, no, obviously, but
it's a character.
the point of it is that when the chips are down, Dirk Dogbones is always going to watch you and hope that you get clumsy. I've really grown to love Dirk Dogbones.
You're becoming more Australian by the second.
You are, aren't you? You're actually becoming like Crocodile Dundee.
All right, I likes to fight. Oh, man, Dirk Dogbones. Anyone out there want to draw me a picture of this team? Andy, what have you come up?
Don't draw a picture of mine.
I'm desperate to see it.
Really sad with a set in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Help me.
Looking over the edge, sort of like.
Why did this happen to me? What have you got for yours, Andy?
My name's Craig from Atlantis. Good person.
Mm-hmm.
I've got I once looked into the orb of the foreseen future and foresaw my death. I don't want to die. I wish to live, but every second of every day, I'm a very neurotic little squid boy. Terrified. You come near me, I'll squirt at a second thought. Giant fart cloud everywhere. Like, so George's character trips over, falls over, I go,
Yeah.
Just fart. Giant king cloud.
One of these days, I'm going to roll a god. One of these days.
You'll see. You'll all see. My character will be cool one day.
Yeah, they will.
I think Dirk Dogbones can get enough people to worship you. All you got to do is believe.
What's that?
This is me losing my mind because I just find this hilarious. oh God. Well, that's a really good way of ending it.
I think so.
Okay, Andy, where can people find you if they wish to hunt you with knife and spear?
I am on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube as Decayed Andy. It's in a flesh-ridden corpse rather than a 10-year period. I'm on the Moonbase 2 podcast, and we're in many different locations. Just go onto Google and type in Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast, and you'll probably find me there.
Wasn't there another podcast called Moonbase 2 at one point?
There's one called Moonbase. I think.
Is it just Moonbase?
I can't remember if there was one called Moonbase 2. Or if it was just Moonbase. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there was one like that, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
How dare they? How dare they, Andy? That's what I say.
We've been around longer than them, at least.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, you're, what?
Coming up
How
to
many
15
years now?
or more. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, excuse me.
I take my hat off to you. You are the longest-running podcaster I know of. Did you just turn that into DuckTales?
Yes, yeah, sure, DuckTales.
George, where can people find you in your ginormous neck?
That makes me sad. You can find me links to all of my published fiction over at strangeplaygrounds.com. Most recently, the two collections of Born in Blood, Volumes 1 and 2, which are via Perpetual Motion Machine publications. You can find me over at Exaggerated Elegy on Twitter. Just started a new Let's Play of Moons of Madness, cosmic horror game, which is it seems to be really fun. I only just started playing it, but it's thus far really enjoying it. If you want to come and chat to me, at the moment I'm on Twitter. I don't know how long that lasts is anybody's guess, right?
I'm not going to get into that.
No, probably for the best.
And as for myself, you can find almost everything that I do on thefluffenhammer.com. The last weekend had a big old article all about how Heinrich Himmler had a Dalek, and also the weird Michael Jackson joke that I found inside that book.
It's true, he did have a Dalek.
He did, and there was also Michael Jackson, which was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever found. I don't understand how I ever missed that before it, because it's not subtle. It's quite overt.
It's quite evident, yeah.
And I also wrote up a Sunday Musings all about the RPG sessions using the old Warhammer Quest roleplay book, which was tons and tons of fun. I will be doing some more stuff this weekend. Then I'm going to be taking a break from writing and just putting up all the new stuff as I work on 2 secret projects for next year.
Oh my God.
They're all coming. More about them once we get into the new year. Also, the brain just farted there and completely died. The Fluffies are now up for voting. We've got some stuff in there already, which is really good. And, of course, if you want to vote, you can get in there on the link underneath this very episode. Go vote. Tell us what you thought was best and what you thought was the worst. And don't forget, the batshits are always welcome.
Yeah, always. We love that stuff. We love it to bits.
I I adore the batshits. It's what makes the Fluffies my favourite time of year.
Yeah.
Nothing says Christmas more than reading the Fluffies and putting them into the little grid that I have to put them in order to make sense of them. Yeah, that's a night's work right there. With all that being said then, thank you very much for listening, if indeed you still are. And thank you, Andy, and thank you, George. Good night.
Pleasure. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, rockin'.
Every man lives, not every man truly dies.
I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again. I see the dainty angels in the skin, I cut them, so I see again.